Okay, this demonstration is to show you how to do the constraint practice in 152. The first thing that you'll need to do is go to the Autodesk Inventor on your desktop and open up that file. Once the program opens, you're going to go up here to the ribbon and select Open, and you're going to navigate to your student folder. So we'll go here to the Look-In box and go to Students. Select your period. Go to 152 and open up the 1.5.2 Constraint Practice file and click Open. Once you have opened up the file, you'll notice there are shapes that you'll be using, and you'll be manipulating those shapes. In order to do that, you'll need to go over here to the browser and go to the Sketch 2, and you're going to edit the sketch. You'll notice the screen changes, so you're looking directly down on top of those shapes, and the view cube will show that. So now, once I'm in the editing stage, I can go in now and do the different constraints for these different shapes. And remember, constraints are the commands to tell the program how shapes should interact, how shapes should look. So the directions in your booklet will tell you what you should do with each group of shapes. So for this first shapes, the line and the circle, we're going to make them tangent. So up here in the constraint section of the ribbon, we're going to select tangent, which will make that line touch one point of the circle. So I can click on the circle first, and then I click on the line. And if this message comes up, you could just click yes. And if you notice now that the circle is touching the line only at one point. So if we zoom in enough, the line would only be touching the circle at one point, and this looks just like what's on your page in your book. Number 2, it says apply a dimension constraint to the first circle. So up here, we're going to click on dimension, and we're going to select this first circle out of these 3 shapes. And by doing so, we're telling the computer what size we want that circle to be, which is 1 inch. So we type 1. And your screen may zoom in, and that's fine. We can use the mouse wheel, either double click on it or roll the mouse wheel to zoom out. Apply a tangent constraint to the 2 circles. So we'll go back up here to the tangent constraint, and we're going to make those 2 circles come together. So they're touching only at one point. We're going to make the line 1.5 inches long. So we'll go up here to dimension, and that will allow us to change the size of the line. Make sure you pull out this size indicator over to the right, not down, not up, not to the left, but to the right, so that it creates the correct measurement for this. And then finally, for number 2, apply a tangent constraint to the line and second circle. So we'll go in and make those 2 touch. Looks just like what we have on our paper. Our third shape here, our 4-sided shape, we're going to need to first apply a parallel constraints to opposite lines. What that means is we want to make the 2 sides parallel to each other, and then the top and bottom lines parallel to each other. And notice as you're working, you'll notice the marks appearing for the constraints, the commands that we told the computer to use. So the second thing we'll need to do with this is we'll need to apply a dimension constraint to the 2 sides. The top line will need to be 1.5 inches, and the side will need to be 2 inches. Finally, we'll need to apply a perpendicular constraint to tell the computer that we want one of these corners to always be 90 degrees. So I'm going to choose this line, in this line, and it will make that corner 90 degrees, which will make all the rest of the corners 90 degrees automatically, because those different lines need to be parallel to each other. So this line needs to be parallel to this line needs to be parallel to this line. So by making this one 90 degrees, it makes them all 90 degrees because of these other constraints. So you would continue on working using the directions in your book to apply these different constraints until your screen looks just like the one in the book. So imagine we're finished. What you'll need to do is now click Finish, or actually you'll need to print this out before you click Finish Sketch. We'll need to print this out by going to the Application menu and going to Print, and we're going to then click Properties, and we'll need to make sure this is in Landscape View, long ways left to right. Click OK, and then click OK to print. So once we have printed out our file, the last thing you'll need to do with this drawing is you're going to need to click Finish Sketch Now to finish drawing, and we're going to make some of these objects into 3D objects. So we're going to select the Extrude button here in the 3D Model tab. And it's asking us now to pick what shape we want to make 3D, because right now these are just 2D shapes. And I can click on those shapes, and I could tell it how long those shapes should be. So I could type here in this box the distance in inches, how long those parts should be. I could also tell it the direction from the drawing it should pull that shape out from. So right now it's going up away from the drawing. Now by clicking this, it will go down away from the drawing. So our drawing is right here on top. I could have it go halfway down and halfway up. And this last one, I could have different measurements of some going up and some going down. Most of them, you're going to use direction 1 or direction 2. I like direction 2 because you could still see your drawing and edit your drawing easily without the object being on top of it. So we'll go in and we'll click OK, and our drawing goes away. In order to get the drawing to come back, we can go over here to our browser and click on this little plus minus and go to Sketch 2 again, and you'll notice that the drawing appears again. If we right click on it, we can go to Visibility, and we can make that drawing visible again. And we can continue to extrude these different shapes and make them whatever we want for distance. And we can continue going through those, and we're going to do several of those, just practice using this command. And once you have finished doing this, then you'll take your paper, your printed copy with your drawing on it, and you'll need that initialed by your teacher to get credit for doing the extrusion step. And then you will need to turn in your assignment.